All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Now, in 2017, the Houston Texans traded up in the first round of the NFL draft to select quarterback Deshaun Watson. And by 2018, Watson had led the Texans to the AFC South title. Now, with Watson under center, the Texans have been viewed as a perennial playoff contender. Now, at that time, there was talent around Watson, but the ego of former Texans head coach Bill O'Brien ruined that, and now the team's CEO Carl McNair looks like he is putting the finishing touches on that. It's quite clear that Deshaun Watson no longer wants to be with the Houston Texans, and you can't blame him. In the past couple of years, we've seen so much talent leave Houston. O'Brien traded left tackle Dwayne Brown to Seattle. Jadeveon Clowney, the fine defensive end, got traded to the Seahawks as well. We saw DeAndre Hopkins get traded to the Arizona Cardinals, and you can make the case that DeAndre Hopkins is the best wide receiver in the NFL. And in exchange for Hopkins, the Texans got peanuts back from the Cardinals. We also saw O'Brien last year give the Miami Dolphins a pair of first-round picks and a pair of second-round picks for left tackle Laramie Tunzel, the year before. And, you know, this is a lot where they've given up a lot of draft capital and they really haven't gotten it back. For me, it's been downhill for the Texans since last January. Remember, they were in the divisional round of the playoffs and were up 24-0 on the eventual Super Bowl champions Kansas City Chiefs. And then they turned around and got blown out in that game. This past season just finished. We saw the Texans finish 4-12. O'Brien got fired. There was a lot of infighting. The Texans consistently found a way to lose games, and there was no cohesion whatsoever. Now, the Texans should be going into this offseason looking to really improve their roster. Why? Because they should have the third overall pick in the upcoming NFL draft. But because of O'Brien's foolish move, now that pick is property of the Miami Dolphins, as is the third overall pick of the second round. The Texans still need a new head coach. They brought in a new GM, Nick Caserio, who worked with the New England Patriots. But you have a situation, you already have an unhappy quarterback. You've made him unhappier. Why? Because Watson wanted the Texans to take a real hard, long look at Chiefs offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy. And then you hear the reports today about the Texans bringing in former quarterback Josh McCown for an interview. McCown recently wrapped up his NFL career. He's never been a head coach, obviously. He's never even been an assistant. And, you know, it's one of those, if you're Watson, you're looking around, you're seeing young quarterbacks that you came into this league around with the likes of Patrick Mahomes. And you've seen what the Kansas City Chiefs have put around Patrick Mahomes to put him in a position to win. We've seen what the Baltimore Ravens have been doing with Lamar Jackson. We've seen what the Cleveland Browns have been doing with Baker Mayfield. And if you're Watson, you're looking at all of this talent that you just had. And the Texans were so close to taking that next step as far as being a Super Bowl team. And now you have regressed completely. You have an aging J.J. Watt at defensive end. And honestly, for what the Texans need to do, I think the best thing for them is to trade Deshaun Watson, because you're going to have a disgruntled quarterback on your hands for 2021. Then on top of that, you don't have the draft capital to put the talent around him. So I think it's right now, if you're the Houston Texans, you really just have to start over. I look at it, potential landing spots for Watson. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm looking at the NFC. I see the New York Giants, and the reason why I bring up the Giants, I'm not sold on Daniel Jones. I know that Giants head coach Joe Judge is going to say all the right things publicly about Daniel Jones, but the Giants are not winning anytime soon with Jones under center. And I guarantee you, with the talent that team has defensively and offensively, in a weak NFC East division, the right quarterback under center could get things right for them. You look at the Washington football team. Alex Smith, obviously, he's on the downside of his career. He was a great comeback story for this past season, but the Redskins, the Washington football team, really don't have, the long-term answer at quarterback right now on their roster, especially after they let Dwayne Haskins go. You look at the New Orleans Saints, this is probably it for Drew Brees. And if you're Sean Payton, you need to go out there and get you some talent. I know that they have Jameis Winston as a backup quarterback, but Deshaun Watson could really come in there from day one and assert himself as the guy for the Saints. And if you're New Orleans, you really would not skip a beat. And then finally, the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, the Niners look like they could be ready to move on from Jimmy Garoppolo, and you could put a even better quarterback under center in the Bay Area for this club. And I think the Niners will really get back to what they were doing. Let's not forget, this time last season, the Niners were in the playoffs on their way to winning the NFC Championship. Unless the price is right, I don't see the Texans trading Watson to an AFC team. I know that a lot of people are saying, well, the Jets. The Jets do have the draft capital, but let's just say for the sake of argument that the Jets pull this trade off and get Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson is right back in the same situation that he was in Houston. Not a lot of talent around him on offense. And then if you're going to trade for him, you have to give up a lot of draft capital. The Jets have the draft capital, so then they're going to give it up. But then who are they going to draft to put around Deshaun Watson? And then on top of that, putting Deshaun Watson with the Jets franchise, the expectations are going to be high. And honestly, he'd be set up to fail, so I really don't see it happening. But make no mistake about it, at this point, the Texans really don't have a choice but to trade Deshaun Watson. They have themselves to blame. Typically, as a sports franchise, regardless of whatever the sport is, you don't get that many opportunities to catch lightning in the bottle. The Houston Texans had it, and they've blown it. You look at this team, they were so close a few years ago. And I really think they needed to find a way to capitalize when they were up 24-0 against Kansas City. And it's another prime example of being able to close the deal. Houston was unable to do that. It's been a downward spiral since. They're now looking for a new head coach. And honestly, they're just trying to start over. It's unfortunate for Deshaun Watson because he has immense talent. He has all of the makings to be an MVP in the NFL. He has all of the makings to lead a NFL franchise to a championship. But at the end of the day, it's not going to come in Houston. Houston blew this. I think at this point, cut bait with Deshaun Watson. Let him go to another team, get that draft capital back. And the bottom line is you've got to start over. But I'll say it before, I'll say it again. I don't feel sorry for the Houston Texans. They put themselves in this situation, and bad personnel decisions such as what the Texans made, a la allowing Bill O'Brien, who really did not have that cachet as a head coach, to be both head coach and GM, has now bit them in the rear end. It's a tough job to have when you're asking one guy to multitask. O'Brien was not good enough to do it, and it's really cost the Texans. It's negligence on the Texans front office, and now they are paying for it because now they have a frustrated franchise player on their hands. So folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to thank all of you subscribers out there. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it'll be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. You can check it out, drop a line, and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin. Take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.